Okay, you just let me know if you can see my screen. Just put it into chat, or you can unmute and just say. Okay. Okay, great. We're going to be starting. Yeah, so today's training is based on the warehouse training, on the warehouse module. The warehouse module can be used for different things, such as shipments to different places, delivery routes, and just picking stock from warehouses. Okay, so what you're going to start off is each section. In the warehouse, you have picking, shipping, and maintenance. You don't necessarily have to use all of them at all. You can just use the picking, or you can just use the shipping, or you could use both. Yeah, so we're going to start off on the maintenance side, making sure we have a delivery method, a delivery vehicles, and delivery drivers. So if we double click on delivery methods, we can click on new. And here it will give us a code and description. So in this case, this could be for distance to the client or something similar to that. So here we can say DST. And the speed distance to the client. Okay. Then we have a code. The code can be chosen. This is your service item that you're going to be using. So let's say this would be a service call. Just change the description, and we can say the service distance. Then a billing method. So the billing method is either a fixed rate. Fixed rate is that's all you get. That's the total amount that you pay for. Either it's 200, 500. We have the total mass. So this is if you use volumetric weight or any type of kilograms or volume on your items. Then you have your volumetric weight, which can be added to your items. The greater of mass or volumetric weight, this can be added to your items as well. Then we have our order units. So the amount of units that is ordered, so the total quantity of things that is there, depends on the price. Then we have the distance to the client. And then we have the cost per pallet. So you can have pallets of how many items is on that one pallet. Okay, but in this demonstration, we're just going to be doing the distance to the client. This is the most common one. So if we click on distance to the client, we can then add a tax code, have a minimum charge of, let's say, 100. And then you'll see at the bottom here that there is a distance to client, a from and to. So since we already have a minimum charge of 100, you can say that from 100 kilometers to 150 kilometers would be 200. And then one from 151 going forward to, let's say, 300 would be then 400. From here, you can click on OK, and we have our distance to the client. This is our one delivery method. Then you have your delivery routes. Here, I can have an England route and a Johannesburg to Durban route. We would like to create a Johannesburg to, let's say, Cape Town. Then we have our fields. These can all be changed if you want specific details on your delivery routes. And then files if there's any type of documentation you need. You can then click on OK and have it added here. We can then close this, and that is our delivery route. This is just basically saying where we're going to and what code we're using. Then we have our delivery vehicles, our truck, which is a description, with the fields that's specific. So you could have your registration number, then you could have the driver license, if there's any type of licensing for the vehicle itself, or maybe a trailer or something, that can then be added and changed into these fields. You have your files, if there's any important files, and if you have a career set up. You can then have Dawnwing as a career. We do supply Dawnwing, and if you'd like to ask about any other career company, you'll have to ask to see if we can implement it with them. Okay. After that, we can click on OK, and we can continue as normal. Then we have our delivery drivers. In the same sense, we can create new. With optional fields and files. Great. So after you've added in all your delivery methods and all your maintenance, you can now go onto the accounts receivable and go to your customers. You'll select one of the customers and you'll come here into shipping locations. Be sure that you add a shipping location because this is the address that they usually use. And the distance is, let's say, 153. Click on OK, and we'll click on OK. So now we come here into an invoice. Sorry, apologies on that. So now we have our customer set up with a delivery of distance, and now we can continue. So from here, this would be for the shipping side. So this is only for shipping purposes if maybe you have a container or something is being moved from one place to another. This can also be added to your invoices itself, and I'll show you that shortly. So to begin, we'll have our sales order. Our sales order will have a pick ticket. We then print out those pick tickets, pick the stock, and then we'll be able to process our invoice. So let's come into the accounts receivable and process a sales order. We'll select the customer that we added our shipping location to. Add an item. And the delivery method would be distance. So the distance, so the distance of the distance is calculated by the customer's delivery method. So when we added in our shipping or our location, she's 150 kilometers away. So this is why it shows as 400 on the distance delivery cost. Okay, we can then click on record, and we have now invoiced the client. We have now done a sales order. We can then come into the warehouse, come to pick tickets, and now you can see the pick ticket that we still have to issue. We'll issue out the pick ticket so we can pick the stock, print the pick ticket out, it has been printed. We come here into test. Apologies, not that document. And now you can see our pick ticket here. You can see the line 1 location, bin, item description, quantity, and if it's been picked. After we give this to our employees or the staff that is in the warehouse, you can then close this, come back into our warehouse module, and come into stock pick. We can now load the pick ticket that is given to us, saying that these items have been picked. We can then click on record. Close this, and we can then move on to our sales invoice. Okay, so now we'll go into our sales invoice. We'll come into our customer. Sorry, we'll convert our sales order. You can see that it has been picked, and the delivery cost is still there. Okay, we can then record this document, and that's sorted out. So this uses our delivery method and the delivery cost that is used. I'll just wait for this to finish recording. Apologies on this. I'm not entirely sure why it's taking so long. I'm just going to check on my machine side. Apologies on that. I didn't know why it froze just like that. Okay, so carrying on. I know I missed quite some time there. So basically, after you've done all the picking and on your sales order, you can then proceed with your sales invoice. If there's anything after the invoice, that is where your shipments would be. So then you would come here into your shipments. You would then select an invoice that was done. And then you would add in the route, vehicle, and driver. Okay, the route would be set differently depending on the invoice, but we didn't add any to this invoice in particular. Okay, then we would say whether it's a container, pallet, or box. In this case, we would say it is a pallet. Then we have our shipment notes. And here's where you can add in your dimensions, volumetric weight, your weight in general, weighable, and tracking number. You can then click on record and close. Then you have your containers, your shipment containers. This is where you'd have all your containers that's going to be then loaded onto your shipment and record from here. Apologies on this. And record. Okay. You can print out your packing slips and or your container manifest. And then you have your shipment inquiries. So this is if you have any type of or shipments that are open or that have been done, you can come here to check up on them. You can then adjust them if need be and keep on recording. Okay, apologies on that long little middle piece. I don't know what happened to my machine. So on a quick recap, you would have your pick tickets where you would select which sales order is going to be a pick ticket. You would then print out your pick tickets, stock pick. So this is when you take out the stock from your warehouse, and then you go to the invoice and proceed from there. Just be advised that you don't necessarily need a delivery method on a pick ticket. So you can process a sales order just to pick stock without any type of delivery method. Okay. So if you have any questions or if you'd like to ask anything, you can unmute or you can say you can send a message on the chat. Okay, I don't see any questions coming in. So again, if you'd like a recording of the session, you can just send an email back to the person that sent you this email and ask for a recording. Okay, if there's any questions you'd like further, you can also email them or email Palladium support at .co.za. And yeah, that will be all. Thank you everybody for joining in today's training. If there's any questions, just let us know. And you can email Palladium support if there's any queries you need. Thank you everybody for joining today's training. Drive home safely. Enjoy.